Na wai ehā, or the four great waters of Maui, refers to Waikapu, Iao, Wai'ehu, and Waihe'e streams. Ancient Hawaiians bestowed this name on both the streams and the area surrounding them to honor their life-giving waters. Traditional songs about the area, such as Na Wai KAULANA by Alice Namakelua, encourage listeners to eike na wai ehā, behold the four great streams. O na wai kaulana ia o ku'uaina, which are the famous waters of my home. Native Hawaiians were not alone in recognizing the value and power of na wai ehā. With the coming of foreigners to Hawaiian shores, others began to covet na wai ehā's natural and cultural treasures, especially its water.
Na wai ehā is a truly special place. This area encompasses the streams and watersheds of Wailuku or Iao, Waikapu, Wai'ehu, and Waihe'e, and it was culturally, biologically, and spiritually one of the most important places in all of Hawaii. In pre-contact times and even today, water was and remains one of the most important sources of life for this area. These four great waters used to run continuously from Mauka to Makai, from the slopes of Pu'ukukui all the way until they reached the Pacific Ocean, and this enabled robust natural and human communities.
Na wai ehā encompasses a very important part of Maui. It was a central location of Kahikili and his encampment and his people. And this land here in Na wai ehā flowed with taro patches, fed hundreds and thousands of people.
The Na wai ehā area of Maui, which encompasses the towns of Wailuku and Kahului, the Hawaiian words mean the four great waters, refers to Waihe'e, Wai'ehu, Iao, and Waikapu streams. It was once the largest contiguous kalo-growing area in all of Hawaii, anywhere. Even when you picture Hanalei in your mind and how much kalo there was much more in Na wai ehā.
Na wai ehā was talked about in many different stories, and of course we all know the Kaulana na Wai EHA song, and composed by Alice Namakelua, and so we know that Na Wai EHA is a special place, and hopefully it will remain that way into the future.
In the mid to late 1800s, sugar plantations arrived on Maui. It didn't take long for these interests to seek control of Na wai ehā's land and water. They constructed irrigation systems, including the Waihe'e and Sprinkles ditches, to take the entire flow of Waikapu, Iao, Wai'ehu, and Waihe'e streams under normal conditions. For over a century, these diversions have drained Na wai ehā of its lifeblood, depriving the streams, communities, and many public uses and cultural practices reliant on this water. The famous waters of Na wai ehā are now drained dry and no longer flow below plantation diversions.
So you have this place, Na wai ehā, a very special place for Native Hawaiians, and it was one of the major sites of sugarcane cultivation growing in the islands. Two major companies, which evolved to become Hawaii Commercial and Sugar Company, or HC&S, owned by Alexander and Baldwin, and Wailuku Agribusiness, owned by C. Brewer and Company. Two plantations controlled most of the arable land on Maui. They started in the 1850s, went through various mergers. In their growth, they diverted nearly every drop of water on the island.
Years ago, some old documents refer to the Iao Stream as the Wailuku River. Later on, it's termed as the Iao Stream, Iao River, then Iao Stream, and I today call it Iao Trickle, because that's what it is most of the time, it's just a trickle now.
Right, but we don't really have much stream life. If I want to go gather opai, well, I can't really, because there is no opai ula or whatnot growing in Waikapu. Opu, no opu. Waikapu doesn't reach the ocean.
Used to be. I would go to a luau, and there would be opai on the table. There would even be opu on the table. Hihivai on the table. That is a very, very rare occasion. First the opu went, then the hihivai went. Now The opai was the last to go. You could go to any luau and at least have a little cup of opai with 5 or 6 opai in it. But because of all the taking of the water from the stream, you can't find them anymore. It's harder to find. I'm not saying they're not there. It's just difficult to find. It's my native right to have what I am familiar with to eat.
I could tell you stories on how we used to lay net and what you would find inside your lay net would be like going to the grocery store. Yeah, it's like, oh, what you like out of the net. Nowadays you're not gonna find that. No more water going down the streams. That's one part why we no more fish in the ocean.
When I've interviewed taro farmers in East Maui, Honopo, Keanai, Wailua, all these different places, from my conversations with them previously, they used to have oopu in the taro patches. They used to have opai in the taro patches. And by them telling me that, it also tells me that there was a lot more flow in the taro patches.
What's really discouraging, we live in Yao Valley, and on the weekends or after school, you see the truckloads of kids going up the back of a pickup truck to swim. And that water should go to the ocean, where they should be able to swim any place down the stream bed. But no, they have to go up above the intake to find water to swim in.
In island communities like Hawaii, water is the source of all life. Ola I ka wai. Water is life. For Native Hawaiians, water has always held special significance and is, in fact, one of the kinolau or embodiments of the akuakane. This philosophy has often clashed with Western desires to commodify this essential public trust resource.
Somebody had pointed it out to me. He says, dude, check go look up the English version of water. So one day I go look up the version of water. And it says, tasteless substance. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh. And then I go look up the Hawaiian version, why, wealth, life, I was like, oh, total difference.
Vai vai in Hawaiian means values, but also means wealth. And I guess one who had water in the past was considered a wealthy person. They didn't measure their wealth in dollars and cents, and they didn't have that kind of stuff. It was, those who worked really hard, those who had, land to farm on, that was wealth. And why? Because you could feed yourself and other people.